Township Downtown Development Authority regular meeting to session at 6 o'clock on May 12th, 2026. If we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tim, would you mind reciting the mission while you're back?
Sure. The mission of the Lyon Township DDA is to assist public and private development efforts to stimulate residential, commercial, and industrial growth and create a vibrant community where people live, work, and play.
Hi, Kelly. Could you do a roll call for us?
Sure, I apologize ahead of time if I mispronounce anything. Carissa Canfield.
I'm here.
John Dolan.
Here.
Alyssa Gezzi.
Elisa Gezzi.
Yep. Elisa. Mike Hazy.
Here.
John Paycheck.
Here.
Dr. Paula Ruffin.
Here.
Jason Egan.
Present.
Who did I miss? Oh,
Tim Miner is here.
I was going to say, how could you miss me?
And Adorno will be joining us late today. Okay, moving on.
Where's the tickets?
Sorry. We had a request to remove the March meeting minutes. We'll add that to the new business under E. We also have proposed changes to adjust the call to public. You, when you come up at the beginning of the meeting shortly, you can include agenda items in the call to public. Move new business to the unfinished business prior to the reports. So we're moving new business up in the agenda. These are the already noted on your agendas that you have in your hand. And then we'll move discussion of Huron Valley Chamber membership to new business A. Also adding new business F, a change order for the Southeast Ring Road Part 301 permit, scope of work and approved cost. And then finally, we'll be adding a call to public at the end of our meetings as well. So we're gonna ask that you not come up for agenda items during the meeting. You can talk about those prior to the agenda items or at the end of the meeting. So I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Crystal, we needed a motion to approve the consent agenda too. With the minutes.
At the same time?
But that needs to, well, it can go now, yeah, it just needs to be a separate.
Okay, so before approving the agenda, we'll look at the consent agenda, which would be removing the minutes, sorry.
Motion to approve the consent agenda with meeting minutes being reviewed in new business.
Support.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sorry about that. Now I'll look for approval of our agenda with the changes.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for, with the changes as proposed.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, moving on, we have announcements and communications next.
I'll just announce that's my dog barking. Sorry.
Okay, if there's no further announcements and communication, we'll now take call to the public. Please note that any member of the audience wishing to address the board can come up and step up to the microphone and state your name and address. You'll have 2 minutes And as we said, you can cover both agenda and non-agenda items. And then you'll have another chance at the end of our agenda for discussion of anything that you want. So we're asking that you don't come up under new or unfinished business. So if we have anyone who wants to address the board at this time.
Hello, my name is Ben Dykstra. I live at 26400 Daria Circle East. South Lyon is the mailing address, but I'm in Lyon Township. And this is my first board meeting here for DDA, so excuse my naivety. But I'm here because I'm interested to learn what is the DDA vision for how to spend the tax revenue that's projected to be coming in through the data center. The data center is projected to be in a real prime, in my opinion, prime real estate for Lyon Township. I've personally had dreams actually of putting something in there right along the bike path. I think it would be great to utilize that for more community building. Outdoor recreation is a big thing that we could capitalize here in Lyon Township with the parks, bike trails. Try to get a little bit more interest in coming in and eating food or shopping. And the data center just, to me, seems like it would be like plopping an airport right next to where you want to draw people. It just doesn't seem compatible. And so I think the DDA would be interested to find good ways to utilize that space that will want to draw people. And I think the data center will do just the opposite. It will force people away. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So my question would be, what is the intended use for the revenue that is generated by the data center taxes? I appreciate that DDA will benefit from the tax revenue. Is there a grand vision for that space?
Hi, I'm Michelle Middleton. I live in Lyon Township. I have a question about the drain that's with the clean out, the bypass drain that's going to be going in to drain property that they purchased as wet and now they want to drain it into the drain. My concern is the last rainfall that we had where that bridge was put in on Martindale, the water almost crested at the banks there. They're gonna clean from Milford Road to Martindale, but what about Martindale to Pontiac Trail? The Davis Creek also goes in that drain. So I'm wondering what's gonna happen with all that extra water when that's added in, and have you guys considered what's gonna happen to all the properties that are on that stream there? There's wildlife that lives in there. There's trout that live in there. Mink live in there. Wood ducks live in there. Is there a study being done for the wildlife? I don't know how they go in and clean that out to protect, the turtles and all that stuff going on. But I'm wondering how you guys are thinking about the rest of the properties that are on that stream when you go to clean that out. So that's all I have to say.
Carmen Pegan, 26726 Elk Run East. I don't know if any of you have had a moment to watch the recorded Planning Commission meeting from last night, but during the public comment, while Amy Loverich, who has been nothing but polite and passionate while addressing board members and committee members, a member of the commission can be seen grabbing his throat and fake gagging. Mr. Town's third grade mentality is deplorable. The data center is a very serious matter that has impassioned this community, and his behavior should not be tolerated. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Barker, Geoff-Barker. I have lived in New Hudson since 2006, and I would like to echo some of the previous comments regarding the data center. I have been to almost every meeting since February. There's many aspects of it that I find troubling. For one is the impact on the environment and the impact on the health, particularly in close proximity to children in an elementary school. It's unfathomable to me that a data center would be proposed that close to an elementary school and the potential health impacts. I also believe that everybody should get an opportunity to present ideas and develop ideas, companies, and I realize that's one of the primary missions of the DDA. I guess I really believe that to proceed forward in any way with the data center is just incredibly irresponsible at this point, given the outrage, the concern of the community. The other thing I also have a great concern with is when you read about all of the reports and the analyses, how it's kind of done, half done, reports are missing, they're not complete. To really go forward in any manner on the data center in that backdrop, to me, is incredibly irresponsible. And I think that if that does happen, I think it really opens up the board and the township to legal action and many different things. So I would hope that at the very least a motion is made to table any potential data center for a minimum of 1 year. A lot of the people haven't gotten reports in, they haven't gotten other information in, and to kind of go forward in this stew of half information, half not, it's a very significant thing. There's some different things in the DDA that are sizable, like construction, clearing drains, but then there's others that are more minor. To me, the data center is absolutely astronomical when you consider the impact on the citizens, housing, people looking to resale their house. There was a gentleman last night that announced he was going to be moving with his family, and they're about to put the sign out because he said, I will not live near a data center, and the economic impact it will have on me and my family in terms of selling our house. So I think that all needs to be considered very, very carefully before anything is done on the data center, before one shovel is inserted into the ground, before one truck shows up on site. I think that we really need a lot of clarification. Now, with, I think, a 1-year moratorium, I think it would give everybody a chance to complete reports, submit reports, have the reports analyzed, and it would be a more measured and knowledgeable conclusion that the township would reach. So I firmly advocate that we should have a 1-year moratorium on any consideration of any size of data center. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, how you doing? So I know tonight the budget is on the agenda, and so there are two things that I want to talk about regarding finances. The first one is we have the DT floodlight purchase agreement on the agenda, and I know this will come into discussion later, but it looks like the call to the public will be later, so getting it ahead of you. There is some sort of check box that you'll be asked, it looks like you might be being asked to sign the Illuminating Engineering Society of North America no check mark. Something about, essentially what it is DTE asking for some sort of liability protection that would be put on the township. So something to consider as you're looking over that documentation and contract with DTE, that possibly, if we are asked to check no on that, that whatever lighting system that we're putting in place is not gonna meet some sort of certain standard, that the township will now be taking liability. So if there's like a car accident because it wasn't well lit or not, they could sue the township. So just something to think about as you're making your decisions tonight. The other thing too is I'm still having a little bit of confusion over the New Hudson Drain funding. It looks like, especially when it comes to the engineering side of it, because we have CES and both Atwell providing documentation on what the drain should look like and how it's being cleaned. So I'm curious in further discussions, although not on the agenda tonight, if there at some point it could be addressed. Are Atwell and CES working together? Are they separate? Because as of right now, the documentation looks duplicative, and I would hate for the township also to be wasting money that is already being spent somewhere else. So just some things to think about. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Multiple things, so I probably won't get it all in my 2 minutes, but this is the flyer
Just state your
that
name,
I,
okay.
Amy Loveridge. This is the flyer that I couldn't find the last time I was here, that was mailed out to the people in Lyon Township, saying we deserve better, and the drain is what's going to make it better, not the data center, but this is what's important. This has been around for a long time and still hasn't been done, but we're going to get a data center to get it, so that'll make things better here. I agree with the gentleman here. I had mentioned this last night, that I thought the property there, even if it was just the back half of that property, could be attained by South Lyon as the trailhead park, instead of putting soccer fields all the way down by the library. Maybe we could put them there, create an area, like he said, closer to the food, to our downtown area, instead of a data center. They asked about, do we brand Lyon Township, or do we brand New Hudson? I live in New Hudson, that's my address. And I don't like having to say that when someone says, where's New Hudson? It's near South Lyon, or it's by Novi. And I certainly don't want to get to the point where I say, it's where the data center is. That's where I live. I'm a mile from it. I don't want that to be what our charter township of Lyon Township is. It's known for its data center, not for the rural community, the pumpkin patches, the kids playing soccer, the cider mills. This is why we moved here. And no one is trying to stop progress. They just don't want the progress to be a data center slapped in our face that is endangering our way of life, our water source, our energy. There was someone here at a recent meeting that she's been informed they're going to put these giant poles through her property to bring in the power for the data center. That's not even in the scope of the data center. This is DTE going to do it because they're supplying it. Do we even know about the sewage? I don't know if anybody's even brought up sewage. I just heard that, maybe you can answer this, that Selene's going to have their own sewage plant. I don't know if that's true or not, but who monitors it if it is? There's going to be sewage coming from there, and do we know if it's clean or full of toxins? Who's monitoring this? There's still so many questions, and every day the questions grow as more and more of these fire up and get put in front of committees for approval. I can't, I think a year is good. maybe we could get a little more breath into what is actually going on here and who's all involved in it. I just think we need to slow down on this and we need to stop this. It is not in the right place and it is going to hurt this township. I don't want to have to say I live by the data center.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm keeping,
Oh, you are?
I'll let
Oh,
you,
okay.
I can
Okay.
just let you know when 2 minutes are up.
Jason Middleton, Lyon Township. I just want to back up what she was saying earlier, that the drain, I think we've got the cart before the horse, is the drain really needs to be cleaned from the township line coming back towards the data center area before we go allowing the data center to drain their property. I mean, it's a shame that for 45 years they've had a floodplain, but that's the way they purchased it. But if you send the 2 drains, clean that out with that water, and the 2 drains the opposite side of Martindale that come together, you're gonna flood all our properties out. This year it's been bad enough without other properties draining into it. So I would just hope you would do the studies, the water flow, and make sure before you send more water downstream, we figure out how to fix the rest of the drain first. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, does anybody else want to speak now? Or wait till the end? Okay. Next up, we have Amy with the DDA annual report.
Thank you, everyone. So we do these presentations as required by PA 57 twice a year. I've been asked to present one at our regular board meeting so everyone can be aware, and then we usually do one later in the year in the fall prior to our public meeting. All these meetings are open, though, to the public if they want to attend. So, as I said, it's required by PA 57, which created our DDA. The one tonight and our second one will be held on November 10th at 5:30 p.m. It will be a very similar presentation. We are scheduled to hold 11 meetings this year. They're usually on the second Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. You can see our schedule attached. All the meetings are held in compliance with the Open Meetings Act. And this presentation will be made available online after this. Our current board of directors, you can see we now have a full board at 9 members. Myself as the director, and we have a part-time marketing social media manager that started with us this year. The DDA does have a defined boundary, which is just under 4,000 acres. So you can see that included on the map here. It's a little bit hard to read at this size, so I apologize, but that northern border follows along Pontiac Trail. The very southernmost is 12 Mile. To the west, you're looking at Napier, and to the east, you're looking at Napier, and to the west, you're looking at Kent Lake. So you can see it kind of zigzags in there. The capture area is what's shown in green, and the spend area is what's shown in the darker black outline. So the capture area is a little bit smaller than the actual spend area, and that means that that green area is where we capture some of the tax increment financing funds, and that darker line is where we're allowed to spend those funds with development. As I mentioned, we are funded through what's called tax increment financing. So in layman's terms, to explain that, for example, we take what the tax value was at the year of inception. So just to make it very easy, say there's a tax value of $1 million. And the second year, that same captured area goes up to 1.25 million. Then the authority gets to capture the difference in that of 250,000, and they are only capturing the taxable increment of that 250, not $250,000 of that. So just to make you aware. And that baseline year remains the same throughout the life of the DDA. So it's always going to go from the difference of the year that it was created to the current year. We offer a lot of opportunities for our staff and our board members to attend professional development opportunities. We've had various board members partake, and I'm excited about that as they get more and more involved with different organizations that we belong to. I've had the opportunity for the last couple of years to attend the Main Street Now conference, which is a national conference. We've had opportunities for myself and others to attend the Michigan Downtown Association, which we are members of, the Michigan Economic Development Association. We're members of the Oakland County Main Street program. The International Council of Shopping Centers, they do annual workshops in the state, and we've had some of our members attend that. Oakland County Economic Development usually does various trainings throughout the year, also their Economic Outlook Luncheon. And then their Interface Retail Group holds an annual conference where we have the opportunity to meet with other developers, shopping center, business owners, where we can try to help recruit additional business to our area. Current projects that we're working on include things like economic development incentive programs, including our facade improvement grants, design work for the Southeast Ring Road, the streetscape design for downtown we have not launched into yet, but it's something that continues to be on our radar. We're looking at different public spaces development, and then the crosswalk construction that we're doing in conjunction with the township, and sidewalk connections that we're strategizing on. Goals, direction, and our priority list. So we do create or maintain a priority list to talk about projects that we want to undertake in the next couple of years. Our executive team is actively working on updating that list, and we'll be utilizing that for our budget workshop, which will be planned for this summer to help us create a budget for 2027. Some of the things on our current priority list include obviously the Southeast Ring Road. We're discussing the abandonment of the New Hudson Road, business retention and recruitment strategies, and creating infill development plans for our downtown core, just to name a few. This is also an opportunity to give you a breakdown of where we are financially as an organization. So we utilize our numbers that were the latest audited numbers. So this actually goes back to where we ended at 2024 because the 2025 budget has not completed its audit yet. So you can see how much was collected in TIF revenue, interest income, refunds, sponsorships that we've received. So that total overall revenue for 2024 was just over $4.6 million.
What are the refunds for?
Refunds were things like we had insurance claims that were turned in for accidents, some of the light poles that were damaged, things like that. And then expenses, you can see the categories that they're broken down to with our audit for administration, contract services, promotions, marketing, capital improvements, and bond expenses. The bond expenses include the payments for the previous legs of the ring road that we're still paying on. And you can see that is just below 1.8. So the fiscal summary for 2024, you can see net revenue and expenditures just over 2.8. You can also see where our beginning year fund balance was and where we ended the year. So we sit at that point, we were at 10.5, just over in our fund balance. So one of the things that the state requires us to do is to designate and give an estimated timeline of where we plan to spend those funds, because it's not the intention for us to just continue to grow a savings. They should be spearheaded and designated to what projects. So in looking at this, we've talked about some of the big cost projects include the intersection improvements in our downtown, estimated completions, construction of the ring road, the streetscape, the cleaning out of the drain, improvements of the cemetery, Milford Road improvements, and then the creation of a trailhead for Huron Valley and some estimated completion dates. And again, these are just estimates to provide to the state for what we're looking at. It's also required that we give an update on who we currently have contracts with, so you can see who we utilize for legal services, engineering, design. Our DDA Promotions Committee has a contract with some entertainment providers for our Music on the Grand series. We have Oakland County that we have our TIF finance agreement with, photographer, website, and DTE for our community lighting program. And just to recap some of the events that we had in 2025 with our promotions group, with our economic vitality and design and appearance. You can see we did a lot of different things last year. Our Lion Rocks, our historical tour, our Music on the Grand. We had some educational programs, networking opportunities. So this just gives you an idea of overall what all we've been able to accomplish. We welcomed 10 new businesses to our community. You can see the logos up there included. Ilmore Marine in our industrial district, Black Mountain Golf Lounge, Reyes Coca-Cola Bottling. So we were able to work with quite a few of them on ribbon cuttings and welcome events last year. Participation and sponsorship. So I always like to give an update on what we've been able to accomplish with activation for our businesses in the area. So throughout all of our programs and campaigns, we had 39 businesses within our DDA participate, either as a community group hosting, it could be a tent at our Music on the Grand, or it could be a sponsor for one of our programs, or donating flowers for our flower pots. In total, we actually had 89 businesses, so we had quite a few businesses from outside the district get involved this year. Or this last year, and we brought in just over $24,000 in raised sponsorships for different programs. Volunteers. Obviously, we can't do anything without of our volunteers, which are involved with us. In 2025 alone, we had over 100 volunteers promote or participate in promotions events specifically. So we had 30 additional volunteers that either served on the board like yourselves or a subcommittee. And all in all, we had over 1,000 volunteer hours logged throughout all of our programs. A commercial investment within our DDA was just over $3.8 million in new buildings that were created. And 3.5 was spent on commercial additions within the DDA. So you can see some photos of some examples with the ULB building that was created. Pratt and Miller's doing some expansion, and then additional buildings with Robertson Townhomes in the district. We also track commercial building alterations, and we had an investment of just over $6 million. And again, you can see some examples of some alterations that were made on the buildings. And just over $100,000 was spent on signage for DDA businesses. Civic space, we are still extremely lucky that we've been able to partner with New Hudson United Methodist Church, and they've allowed us to utilize their green space, which we previously dedicated at the Inspiration Park. We utilize that for a majority of our special events downtown. Last year, you can see all of the Fun on the Grand programs that we offered, including the concerts, the Halloween, scarecrows, Giving on the Grand, and Lighting Up the Grand. We estimate just over 5,000 people attended those events altogether. Awards and grants. We were extremely excited last year with our participation with Main Street Oakland County. We had the opportunity to attend their main events award, and we saw Wholehearted Winery was recognized with the Main Street Resilience Award. We also won a category of the Partnership Award for our Burger Battle promotion that we did with South Lyon, Wixom, and Highland last year. We were also awarded a $5,000 grant from the Oakland County Board of Commissioners for their special project, which we submitted our Music on the Grand concert series. And then the DTE Foundation awarded us a $3,000 grant that went to offset the cost of our holiday market that we did with Lighting Up the Grand last year. Partnerships, again, you can see the different organizations that we're involved with: the Michigan Downtown Association, Main Street America, Michigan Economic Developers Association, Michigan Historical Preservation, Main Street, the Chamber, and the MEDC. And that is it for my presentation tonight. Do I have any questions from the board?
That was great, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you. And as I said, I'll make this available online. And if anybody from the public has questions, you can ask during the last public comment of the meeting. Is that the appropriate spot? But this will be available online for anybody that wants to get a better look at it and be able to print it off.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Moving on to new business, discussion of potential approval of Huron Valley Chamber of Commerce membership. Dr. Paula.
Okay, so I'm gonna step up here. All right, so thank you guys so much for letting me address this. Joelle Beether from the Huron Valley Chamber, she went home sick today, so I'm stepping into her very large shoes. She's an amazing human being. In an effort to continually expand the promotions, the downtown, or economic vitality, I'd like to propose that as our DDA board, as our DDA, that we join with the Huron Valley Chamber. Some of the benefits that we're going to get, they are the largest chamber in the state of Michigan from a financial perspective, so they're very sound. Oh, do you have the?
I have the board.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So if you don't have to do that.
Awesome. Okay. Find your mouse. So, do my best to get through there. So anyway, yeah. So they are very financially sound. They're very capable of being able to partner and help us support our communities, support our events, as well as support our members. They have been a very strong support of just me personally, just as a testimony. I've been part of the Huron Valley Chamber for 8 years, and it has significantly breathed revenue into my practice because of the relationships that I've been able to build. So I know we're a member of the Lyon Area Chamber, and I would just like to propose that we look at just expanding in any way we can. They can help support us with business events, with community events. They've already talked about even doing like a chamber meetup at our concerts. They've talked about being part of our sponsorship. They have actually stepped in and sponsored, put a very large sponsorship in for Kite Fest. And so they're going to be taking a very big hand in helping promote Kite Fest. So I don't know where I'm, there's some benefits there if we can, see if I can expand that. So that was another huge piece because Kite Fest was looking at just going away. So this was a really, really great way to get them involved. I do have, I'm just going to read off of this because I don't know if that's, I'm just going to talk about, I kind of want this. Yeah, the event snapshot. So they have 442 members. Last year alone, they had 70 new members. They have 23 board members, 18 ambassadors, 49 HVRN members. They have a very strong networking group. So these are BNI-like, but they're only $25 to join if you're a chamber member. And so they're one business per group. It's expanded my business. It's a great community of people, wonderful relationships. And then they have 82 total events. They have 17 events a month that are free for their members. Many chambers charge for their events, and they don't really have that many. But when you do go, they will charge you for them. They have had $48,000 in donations, $16,000 donated to their old local nonprofits, and is that 5,000 or 50? It says 50,000 given out to scholarships to local high school seniors, and over 27,000 raised by nonprofit groups for the community. So all that to say, they're very strong. They would love to get involved with us. They would love to see an expansion into New Hudson. They had even said that they would hire a staff member to help support our community so that we can then again, just take another step towards building and growing the economic growth and vitality that we have already going on here. There is in your packets, there is a calendar of events for 2026. And I would invite any of you, if you'd like to attend an event with me, I would love to have you come as my guest and see. It is really, there's an energy that I've not experienced anywhere else with any other Chamber of Commerce. I've been a part of this community for 25 years, and I've been hard pressed to find the level of support that I've gotten from Huron Valley. So I would just love to be able to expand that and draw more people into there. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you, my Vanna. They have an amazing holiday gala that is, I don't know how expensive to put on, but they only charge, I think it was $50 a ticket, and it is it's like a wedding. And it was fun, and they hire a band, and that's how they give back as well, because they're able to be so financially sound that that's their event to give back to their community. So does anybody have any questions with regards to the chamber?
When you did the sheet on the snapshots, it talked about just the regions or areas that people were involved in. It was like Ann Arbor and West Bloomfield. I mean, it seems like most chambers are typically geographically located. This one seems to be sort of all over, which makes sense in terms of being involved in both of them.
The area that they started in was, I think, Milford, White Lake, Highland, parts of the Lakes area, a little bit of Brighton, New Hudson, South Lyon, and so there's some crossover with New Hudson and South Lyon there. And then, so it's like Milford's the hub, and then it expands out from there. And then there's been conversations with the Michigan Chamber of Commerce, and the director there said we can easily expand. Chambers don't typically have like a defined, they do have a defined geographic area, but there's not a contract, there's no legal issue with the expansion. We wouldn't be stepping on the toes of South Lyon, because we actually already had, just last week or a week ago, a chamber fusion with the Lyon Area Chamber with one of our new members, which is Hines Park Ford. So that was actually a multi-chamber. I think that was Brighton, Lyon Area, Novi, and Huron Valley. And so that's how they want to come in, is they want to come in and be a collaborative partner for us. And it's only $100 for nonprofits as well. So it would be $100 to get us in, and they would then be able to step in. And I mean, they're excited to be a part of us. And Joelle sends her biggest apologies. She really wanted to be here, but she's like, I know you can do it. So that's here I am. So I mean, I've met the most amazing people. I've met the most amazing businesses. I've done so much business with people. They've done business with me. It's like I say, I can't stress enough the support.
Paul, they'll also be a source of volunteers for us.
Thank you, Pastor John. Yes, so they have they put on Milford Memories. So their sponsor, their volunteer base, and of course then their ability to capture sponsorships is just another massive expansion for us as well. So, any other questions?
I see no downside.
Yeah. It would, like I said, it's just another way to expand and collaborate, and they, they'd be excited to be a part of our community. So, so I don't know if we need to vote on that or what we do, but my request would be that we join the Huron Valley Chamber for $100, and see where we go from there. So, yeah. Thank you, everybody, and a huge welcome to Tim Miner back to the board. It's so great to see you.
Okay, to wrap it up, I'll make a motion that we join the DDA joins the Huron Valley Chamber of Commerce.
Second.
For $100.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you, Dr. Paula.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. It's going to be amazing.
Amy, can you take us through the DT Floodlight Purchase Agreement? Excuse me.
Yes, so some background on this. When we signed up for the original community lighting program, when we replaced some of the lights around the ring road, one of the things that had happened, we didn't realize this till about 6 months after or 3 months after the installation was completed, is that when they were removing the lights, they took out some of the, I'll call it guts, for the power that went from the boxes along the ring road to our roundabouts. and our roundabouts had uplighting floodlights that illuminated the flagpoles on all of the roundabouts. So when the contractor was switching out all of the poles, they removed all of the power supplies to those roundabouts. We've been working with DTE for about 4 months now to try to figure out how to rectify the situation. It is not an easy fix once all of that material is pulled out. So they're talking about the need to bore underneath there to get access to that roundabout again. And when we were having these discussions with them on site, there was some concern about the current equipment that's out there and whether or not it would work with their materials that they would be using to go over to it. And I met with our DPW staff also. He was on site with me. And it was discussed that the floodlights that we currently have are very old. Even if one goes out of service, we don't know that we would be able to replace it with something similar. It would most likely be an updated to an LED. So rather than DTE hiring another contractor to just give us power to hook up to the lights that we already have there, we asked them if they might be agreeable to just adding on the floodlights to our current community light program. They would be willing to do that at no cost because obviously this was their mistake that they made by cutting off the power, so we would not be charged anything for them to install, for them to provide the new lights. The only thing that we would be charged is it would be the same as the current light poles, the rate of usage for power for those lights moving forward. But that would mean if a floodlight was damaged or destroyed, they would be replacing it for us. So we wouldn't have to take that cost on. So this is the standard agreement, which looks just like our previous one did for the light poles. I know there was one comment from the public about the checkbox that says no. The IESNA was a national standard for the light, I don't know what you want to call it, the light capacity, or there's a specification about what's allowed in certain areas. And we were told that when we did the community lighting program, we didn't need to go as high as what that standard looked at. When we have those roundabouts where the area they did the studies for the light quality there, and they didn't recommend that we go that high in wattage for the lights. So this is just saying that we weren't going to necessarily meet those standards, but it would still be at least, if not better than what we have currently, but they don't want it high enough that it's going to be a traffic hazard going forward. So this was the same thing that we did with the last one. So we are looking for direction on if the board does want to designate me to sign this agreement and include those floodlights in our community lighting program.
Just a question for either Brian or Leslie, somebody far more smarter than me in this area. So just addressing the questions brought up that Amy just spoke to. A very quick search is more about IESNA saying that there's certain standards based on use. Is that accurate? I'm curious why it wouldn't be the standard if it's for a particular use, not generally super high or super low, which sounds more like what we just heard, versus the intended use of. It sounds like it's up. This is for the uplighting, for the flagging, yes. So it's not facing at the road or anything like that. Just curious if that's accurate, and is it common that these don't meet standard like that? And would there be any risk, I guess, for us?
Do you want to take that, Leslie? Or
I'm not an electrical engineer, so I am not an expert on that code. I do recall that it came up during the community lighting, but I really don't remember the details of why. DTE had a very reasonable explanation. I just don't remember because that was a while ago, and I wasn't really that involved with that project, so I'm sorry I can't answer that.
Okay.
I'll add, and again, the same caveat, not a lighting expert, but in these instances, we do depend on DTE as the energy provider to give a professional opinion on lighting levels. Based on my experience with them in other communities, I mean, they have every incentive to overlight something, right? And if they're telling us that a reduced lighting level is appropriate, I'm inclined to follow their guidance on that.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to lighting that's not safety lighting.
Right.
assuming it's safe to say that the lights that we currently or previously had didn't meet that standard either.
Correct.
Right.
So it's replacing the same thing.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
And I will tell you, we've been getting some comments about not having the flags lit. We really need to get them lit again. I know DTE's taken the rap for doing this, and they deserve to, because they did take it out. But they're stepping up to the plate, and I don't know, did they give you any timeline on when they could get this back up?
We're hopeful within a couple of months once we get an agreement signed. So hopefully before summer's over, but I don't want to put anything in writing.
Yeah, it'd be important to know how quickly we could get these back online.
So the cost that they're showing, that's just for the electricity. It doesn't include the replacement of any light bulbs that need to be replaced?
Correct. When you see the payment due, you'll see a 0 on there. And the total annual lamp charges are an estimated of the potential fees.
Just the power usage.
Yeah.
And are we paying those through the, our DTE bills? Or is that separate from the?
I can get back to you on that,
DTE bills that we
because
pay?
there
Okay.
is some confusion and conversations with the township treasurer. I believe the township has been paying all the lighting bills, even our Ring Road lights. So we're in discussion about if that's gonna continue or if it switches over to the DDA.
Paul will create a new bucket for that.
Any other questions on the DTA proposal? Okay, take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Amy signing the DTE floodlights purchase agreement.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2026 fiscal year budget amendment.
Yes, so a few months back when we were adopting our 2026 budget, there was quite a bit of concern because our past budgets, 2024, as Amy had shown, our expenditures are around 1.7. Last year, or for 2025, around 2, and then this year's budget was 5.6. So that increase pretty much was $3 million under capital improvements for the drain. And so at the time, the question was, can we remove that and amend it? And so the recommendation was, given we needed a budget, adopt the budget, and then you can go back and amend it. So we are now going back. The request is to amend the budget to remove that $3 million line item for the drain under capital improvements. So, anyone have any questions?
Can we expand on that? What does that mean, the drain in the budget? I don't remember that.
We had the drain clean out budgeted for this fiscal year. So that's what that $3 million was included for. So we're trying to decide if we just leave that in the budget, knowing that the project isn't moving forward, or if we amend the budget to remove that $3 million from the capital.
Is that for the clean out from Milford to Martindale?
It was for the whole scope initially, for the whole
Including the road
drain.
crossing, the bypass, etc.
Yes. So it just, like we said, it just makes, we need to make a decision if we want to keep it in there as a placeholder or if we want to remove it. I didn't feel comfortable making a decision on that, so we're just asking the entire board for their input on whether or not to do the budget amendment for that. And then budget amendments can be done at any time, so. And this would be, let me specify, a recommendation for a budget amendment because the Township Board of Trustees approves the budget. We make the recommendation for it. So If the board here wants to recommend a budget amendment, I would then take it to the township to request the actual amendment from them.
Lisa, as treasurer, what do you recommend?
I would recommend that we remove it because, as I said, it isn't consistent with our past budgets, and to see something so different, it's always this red flag you've got to explain. And so I would prefer to have budgets that are consistent, 1.7, 2, and that would put us back down to 2.6. So that would be my recommendation as treasurer.
So if we don't improve the drain, the ring road project dies too?
Yep. This is just the 2026 budget.
I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, from my perspective, I think we obviously all know we need to do something with the drain. It needs to be taken care of. I think what the recommendation here, if I'm understanding correctly, Lisa, is because we're not actually moving forward with that in this calendar year under the budget, that we're just removing that from the budget for this year so that we can then also reserve those funds to use if the project comes back up in 27, if it's not completed.
We'll be starting our 2027 budgeting plans in the coming months. Any other questions?
Has any money been spent towards the cleaning of the drain?
Not to date, no.
And that actually is for the construction piece. There's also, under engineering, was it there? Yes. There's budgeted 200,000 actually. So any sort of design work under engineering would not be included in the capital improvements as a construction budget, not a planning budget.
And so the recommendation is to remove just the capital improvements
Correct.
portion and leave the engineering.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, can you speak up? I can't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just asking if we're I was asking if the recommendation was just to remove the capital improvement portion and not the engineering portion.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, these are just placeholders, and, if it stays in and we have to clean the drain, it's there. If we don't have to clean the drain, it stays in the general fund. And it's up to you guys how you want to go about it. We generally put them in when we think there could be a project. And part of the TIF plan that we went and got approved had the drain and the ring road in it. And that was one of the reasons it was put into the budget, because it was part of the TIF plan. Now, we are absolutely hoping that the DDA doesn't have to spring for the projects, but if it does, the money's there. If we get lucky enough and we get the drain cleaned out and the ring road put in by grants or whatever comes through, then the DDA gets an opportunity to really develop the downtown. And that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping for a beautiful streetscape. We're hoping for a beautiful walkable downtown. We're hoping that the Hawk project gets installed and it works well across the street. We're hoping to add a lot of sidewalks. It gets the school from the parking lot that we put in, and it's going to take a lot of cash. Tons of cash to do that. So the only reason that the money was put in as a placeholder in the budget was because the TIF plan was basically approved on the drain and the ring road. That was the $12 million that the TIF was approved for over the period of time. But we had added a lot of other projects as the meeting place with the property downtown. A nice bike staging for the trail on the backside of the property we have down there. And we had the whole front part of that property, which is rather large, for all the different things that the DDA might want to do down there. Farmers markets, just the fun things you guys are already doing. And Pastor John here has been so nice to allow us to do that. But we also should be doing this on our own property and not have to take all the greatness that they're giving us. I mean, we have an opportunity now to do something pretty special for our downtown, and that was the idea. And I didn't mean to get long-winded there, but I'm just trying to give you some history on why the TIF ended up at $12 million that they approved. And believe me, that was a tough thing to get them to do. They were canceling DDAs everywhere. We were just so lucky that they let us bring that through. But that's where it was, and that's why the money's there. And so there's a placeholder. If you decide you want to remove it, that's up to you. If you decide you want to leave it, if it doesn't get used, it's still there. It means nothing to the bottom line.
John, is there a consequence since the TIF was approved on it being there? Is there a consequence to taking it off?
I don't think there'd be a consequence. I'm not sure, Brian. I mean, you and Leslie both were, and even Amy, we were active in. I don't know if there'd be. We just. It's a good faith to show that we're trying to use the money where it was intended, but they also understand that the project is much bigger than the two. There's many other things. I think the entire ask was $29 million.
30, so we
30
asked for an
million.
additional 13. And when we proposed the specific scope of the drain and the ring road, I believe our initial estimate was that we were looking for the drain clean out in 2026 with the expected road work to begin 2027. But again, that was just an expected. I don't think there's any consequence for things being delayed. They understand that. That comes up all the time. So it gets shifted a year or two. I don't see any consequence for that per se.
So if we take that off of that line item, I mean, the money's still there. It just goes into the fund.
We would just, need
to.
The only actual actionable item that it requires is if for some reason the stars aligned and we found out that we could move forward with, maybe we don't have to do the whole drain, but we are still responsible for a portion of it. We removed it from our budget, so now we have to go back to the township board and ask for another amendment to add it back in if we decide we are able to do a portion of it in the fall.
Well, would we have to go back to the township board if it's already in the fund budget? Don't we have the ability to amend it amongst ourselves?
No, any amendments have to go to the full board, the board of trustees.
Okay.
And just because I don't think we were involved in the actual the budget planning, that $3 million that was there, that was for the entire drain clean out, correct?
That was the original estimate for the entire drain, which we have significant confidence that it would be higher than that if we were required to do the whole thing. But we had at least $3 million budgeted towards it.
Okay.
And I would like to, Jason, I know you came up and Michelle, and you were asking about the drain on the opposite side of Martindale Road. We can ask them questions to the Drain Commission, but the Drain Commission is the overall everything on that drain. They have an easement, I believe, is 60 foot wide, 50 or 60 foot
50.
wide, 60?
50.
It varies in different sections of the drain, but Water Resources Commission would be able to answer all of those questions. They spoke at the last
Yeah, and I was
meeting.
kind of like when you asked that question when the Drain Commission guy was here. He said, "Oh no, everything's fine down there, and we've already got that handled." And I believe you because I know you live there. But I'm just saying we can ask them questions the same way, and we'll get that same answer. And they actually have control of the drain. I mean, we can't tell them what to do. I mean. And so we're a little bit tied there, and I wish I could answer that question for you. And I've asked that question several times because I have the same worry, right? We don't know how much water is going to end up down the drain. We don't know how much. They do a calculation based on water going into the ground. Also, when you widen the ditch larger and you make it wider and deeper, they look at it more of a retention kind of area that slows the water down, gives it time to penetrate into the ground. And these kind of things are all factored into that, you know, now. I believe you. No, I believe you. I've seen it go up. I've seen it over.
When I emailed them, they said that township, it was yours up to you. When I asked them last week.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
That's what the email said.
Like I said, I have no problem, it all needs to be cleaned, I just think before we dump more water, we need to get a plan to get everyone else's clean downriver. Because down where we're at, both of the drains from the city and the township come together the other side of Martinez. So
Yeah.
we get double water.
Hey, I believe you, Jason, I believe you. Believe me, I understand these drains are, you know, they need work, and no one has really done anything to them for a very long time. And I'm not running the meeting, so I'm just, I don't like, you know, I'm used to running meetings, so it's very hard for me not to jump in, but I'm sorry, Carissa, and I'll be quiet. I'll be very quiet.
I've got a question about the federal HUD grant and how that plays into our budget. The 800,000 that's been received. Is that divided up between road and drain?
No, there's no division on those funds, how they're spent.
Okay. Also, has there been any engineering from the township side with the road crossing? I know there's conditional approval and partial approvals on all the road crossing, the clean out downstream, as well as the bypass. Those plans are conditional and partially approved everywhere, the entire drain. So the township did not pay for any of that, correct?
I'm gonna let Leslie answer that one.
Correct.
Okay.
Just one, though, your question about the HUD grant. The HUD grant is a reimbursable, and so the township will not receive all $850,000. They'll receive it as reimbursement requests are made, and those eligible activities are environmental studies, inspection, project management, permitting, things like that. So it could be several years before the DDA receives all of that $850,000 in your revenue. Just a comment, that will be probably over multi-years is what I would anticipate.
I mean, I know Elisa's put in countless hours trying to get a hold of the budget and factor things in. I would be inclined to follow her recommendation here to remove it for this year, knowing that if at most we would be scaling that back a little bit for the $3 million, because I think that was for everything. So I mean, I would be in favor of following Elisa's recommendation as treasurer, because it's more in her wheelhouse than mine.
Well, and I think too, just as a comment as far as that project, we've had so many hiccups and stopping points that we don't even have a beginning date in sight. And I know, John, you're like, if the stars align, we would all love for the stars to align, and they just haven't. We've just been tripping over rocks and stones trying to get something started on this, and we just had a thing with Eagle, and we have to go back and do all these other things. So I think based on that and the inability to even foresee when it could start, and yeah, I mean, I know Elisa has. I trust her depth of investigatory skills.
So everyone here knows we're working with government, right? Government is the absolute slowest thing on earth. And that's why we run into hiccups. I've been trying to get this water system built since I've gotten here in 2016, and I'm still trying to finish 2 plants. 2 plants. And I'm getting very close. But government, when Eagle steps in, and you're gonna have Eagle all over this thing because of wetlands, and you're gonna have DNR because of the animals and the fish and the frogs, believe me, it takes a ton of time. And that's why we like to have cash ready when they walk in one day just out of the blue and go, hey, you know all that stuff you've been working on, we're ready to go. And you go, what? And that's,
But these funds are.
that's why.
Yeah,
I'm
these
just saying
are,
that.
these are actually like, put a shovel in the ground
Yes, this
versus
is-
the,
yes.
right, we
We
still
have-
have
yes,
the
the design is
funds
all
for
funds
the
out there.
inspections and all of that, which still has to get done. So those, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that, I would feel safe just because of what you're saying, John. If they're like, I'm ready to go, we have the funds to be able to say, great, let's go. But knowing that that's gonna be a few months before we can put a shovel in the ground.
Yeah, we have plenty of time to respond to something like that.
So did you second the motion?
I will, I didn't, was the motion on the
think it was
table?
official.
I don't know
I think
that
it was
we
official.
actually
I'm
got a
sorry.
motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, still discussion.
I would make a motion to remove the 3 million from the construction budget line item for the capital improvements line item on our budget from fiscal for 2026, in accordance with Elisa's recommendation.
And I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, motion carries. Now we have the discussion of the minutes format. Lisa.
Yeah, we pulled the minutes approval earlier. So the history on this has been, in the past, we did not have video, so we just had recordings, and then due to recommendations, those recordings were destroyed after the minutes were created, and realized, you know what, we really wanted to be able to have actual concrete ability to go back. And so as we all got I think it was 18 pages of minutes, which is a ton of work, a complete underpayment for that. That's, and I don't ever want to pay somebody $200 to do 18 pages of minutes again. I don't think that's necessary, that given we have the video, we don't need a transcript. And more, Beth, do you have, did you send me an email with?
I sent it to Amy.
Okay.
But I can read you what.
If you can just, yeah, Beth is going to read, what is this,
This is the Open Meetings
Roberts?
Act requirement
Okay.
for what the
Thank you.
minimum standards are to be in the minutes, which it's not a transcript. Let me just find it. So this is in MCL 15.269, Open Meetings Act, Section 9. Each public body shall keep minutes of each meeting showing the date, time, place, members present, members absent, any decisions made at the meeting open to the public, and the purpose or purposes for which a closed session is held. The minutes shall include a roll call, all roll call votes taken at the meeting. The public body shall make any corrections to the minutes at the next meeting after the meeting to which the minutes refer. So basically, that's all that really needs to be in there. So the minutes can really be abbreviated. You don't have to have every single word spoken or even close to that in the minutes.
Exactly. So we discussed this today to kind of get, attorney insight into this. And so definitely we need to fulfill those requirements. I think taking that information, putting that information in, as well as kind of taking our agenda and potentially just putting in where on the video you will find each of those sections, so we can easily take our minutes and go see whatever we want to see. That would be very helpful. And obviously it said roll call votes. I would say any motion that we make, and it will be recording how it was done. So I feel that would be adequate, and that we don't need a transcription or a attempt to even do that. So we have a couple things. We have minutes to approve, so I'm wondering if we should request that the current minutes be amended to do that, and we'll approve them at the next meeting, and then moving forward, we would use that format. Is that two different motions?
I think we could wrap it all in the same motion. I would kindly ask that in doing that, that we allot another payment for April to revise these minutes again.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Please. I would also. So do you want me to make a motion for that?
Yeah.
So I will make a motion that we request the current, what is that? March minutes to be amended and for payment to be made for that to occur. And also moving forward that we would follow the Open Meetings Act as well as the other details described, which is following the agenda and indicating where on the video we would find
So
said
moved.
items.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And Chris, before we move on, I don't think this needs to be carried in the motion. We had talked earlier about just making sure on our videos.
Hey, Mike, could you please? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm
sorry.
shook it up from the last meeting when it kept ringing at us all the time. We talked about this earlier. I don't think this needs to be a motion, but can we just make sure that we have the transcription enabled on
Yes.
the DDA meetings? Because I know they're on the board and planning
Yep, I
commission
did
already.
talk to Ken, who records our meetings for us tonight, and it was requested previously that he add the closed captioning, and it was done as a separate video, but it only got shared internally. It didn't get shared to the public. So rather than have him swap out, because I don't want there to be any thoughts that something was edited, there are going to be two videos for the March meeting now. One will be the live version, which doesn't have the closed captioning, and then there'll be another one that has the closed captioning.
And then
And
we'll just-
moving forward, it'll all have closed captioning.
Perfect. Yeah, I know we already do that with the planning commission and the board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. He said that it was primarily the reason for that one specifically was because the audio was so hard to hear on that meeting. So hopefully the new microphones help alleviate
Perfect.
that problem in the speaking up. So we shouldn't have a problem moving forward.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Next on the agenda, we have the change order for the Southeast Ring Road Part 301 permit, scope of work, and approved cost. Leslie.
Thank you. I have gone into detail with the executive committee about where we're at with the Part 301 permitting. It is an Eagle permit, and as discussed in a previous agenda item, they are the permitting agencies for water, sewer, wetlands, floodplains, culverts, everything. This was not in our original scope of work because I call it wetland permitting, but it's really permitting of 2 new culverts within the new Hudson Drain that the road will cross. At a recent meeting with the state, they did not, they had a lot of concerns with the layout of the western culvert. During the past several years, we were working on how to realign the drain under the road so that the convergence upstream of Milford Road is a smooth transition hydraulically. And it's kind of hard to explain with words, but I'm going to do my best. At that meeting, though, the state stated that that would essentially be a stream relocation permit, which has a lot of mitigation concerns and issues, and not something they easily permit. So they strongly recommended modifying the plans and follow the existing drain. And this is the western culvert closer to Milford Road. And so the plan revisions, including the uploading of the plans, modifying the permit application, the CES costs were at $19,977 hourly, not to exceed. And that also included staking the center line of the road so that the environmental company, ASTI, could walk it with Eagle. One of Eagle's other concerns was that the delineation was old, and they were starting to talk about, well, you may have to redo the delineation. And we said, wait, hang on a second. Because we've been working with them for so long, they were agreeable to doing a site walk with ASTI. And so ASTI's costs for the site walk were $1,140 plus mileage. They did perform the site walk because the executive committee did grant us authorization to proceed with that. They did the site walk while they were there with Eagle. Eagle wants certain portions redelineated and added to the plans. And so that adds an additional cost of $1,160 for a total of $22,277.26. I would recommend, though, that the DDA board consider a not to exceed of $25,000 only because the ASTI costs are out of our control. They're a sub-consultant to us. They're an environmental expert, essentially. So they work as our environmental arm. But the CES costs are certainly within my control. So the $19,977.26, that would be an hourly not to exceed. And so hopefully that resolves all of the Eagle issues, and they issue that permit. That is a 5-year permit.
And so it was my understanding in our discussion earlier today that according to our policy, under 20,000 does not require board approval, but because we've now exceeded the 20,000 for the project, this requires a board approval. So that was correct?
Yeah, just to fill the rest of the board members in that aren't currently on the executive committee. So the executive committee was approached with the changes that Leslie had just announced at our meeting, I believe 3 weeks ago, and we approved those expenses because they were within our ability under $20,000. But now that these additionals are added on, it brings that total cost above $20,000. So that's why it's coming before you tonight. But when she says a recommendation to not exceed 25, I just want to make clear to the executive committee that's not in addition to that 19 that was already approved. That's just the total sum of all of these added expenses.
I anticipate it to be under 23. It's just, it makes me a little nervous to be right to the penny when, you know, there's a whole other company involved in. I don't know.
And you, if they come back and they have other expenses, you would let us know though. So that's not like we would want to know, like if they say, oh, it's going to be another 1,000.
An invoice that's higher, then yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So just to keep us apprised of where that limit, how close we're getting to that limit.
Yes.
Okay.
And if I remember right from our meeting last month, this should be the last portion that we're aware of to allow for that permitting to be finalized, and then we'd have the permit that'd be available for 5 years, correct?
That is my understanding at this point in time. Yes.
That was a very litigious answer.
Well, we're on our 3rd revision, so.
But I guess my point is this is the last piece of it, is remediating making these last revisions.
Yes.
By Eagle, and these are recommendations I think you told us that were directly from Eagle. You're working right off of exactly what they've told you to do.
Yes.
So we're expecting no issue.
What we're getting concerned about is when you have a permit application in and some of these details are not part of that application, they could deem it as administratively non-complete and request us to withdraw it. And if that happens, then I'm going to be coming to you again saying, this is the cost to redo the whole thing.
Right.
So that's the concern that,
Yeah.
you know, we feel like we're in a time crunch.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay.
And I know Mike provided for us, Mike Nearing, on the date of 4/2, this revision estimate, kind of mine's smaller, and you can't read it. Yours is probably legible. Is that something that the rest of the board got? I know the executive committee got it, but
I believe it just went to the executive committee.
okay.
And Amy
So
has it.
that is available if anyone is wanting to look at that. And so kind of when we're working with Leslie, we're asking her to really kind of drill down, you know, what does just about done mean? You know, detailing what exactly are the things that they anticipate having to do and what those costs are. And so there is a detailed description of where they feel like this Eagle permitting, all the different steps are. So that is available if you guys are interested in it.
Are we ready for a motion?
Yeah, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve an increase to not to exceed of 25,000 for the change order for the Southeast Ring Road for CES, with the provision that if there are additional expenses over the current estimate that were made aware in advance.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Moving on, we are now talking about the 27 budget workshop. We'd like to get this scheduled as soon as possible. We met this morning and we know that the summer is quickly approaching and that the holidays are there, but it seems like the fastest time we could schedule would be the first week of July.
June
The last
29th.
the last week
June
of June.
29th.
June 29th is the date we're looking at. So we'd like board members and public to attend the workshop. If we can check our calendars. And we'd be looking at an evening.
When's that date again?
June 29th.
Monday.
Monday, June 29th.
Just make Mondays that much longer.
We had to find one where there wasn't another township meeting.
Any discussion on that?
Think of a time?
Did we say 5:30?
Either 5:30 or 6, whatever seems more doable for board members. I'm not sure what schedules
What are we
are like.
anticipating, 2 hours, 3 hours on that?
It's all dependent on you guys. I have no
We
idea.
want to do a lot of prep.
This is a budget meeting with Lisa.
I know.
I'm not budget
I
3
know,
hours.
I know.
Yes. I will get
I
you the
would
materials to review at least, if we set the meeting tonight, I'll have them to you a month ahead of time, so you have plenty of time to look everything over. So hopefully it can go fairly quick.
I would say, given Elisa's depth of investigation, I would vote for either 5 to 8 or 5:30 to 8:30. I think 6 o'clock is going to take us past my bedtime. Okay.
So would realistically 5 or 5:30 work
Let's
for a
be
majority
nice.
of you? What do you think?
5 sounds good to me. I mean, if people join
Yeah.
late, they can catch up.
We can't start the meeting until we have a quorum, because we can't call the meeting to order without a quorum. So we just need to make sure at least 5
Even
people
though
can be
it's-
there at 5.
I'm gonna be
I
on
can make
vacation.
5 work.
I'll be on vacation.
No,
so-
you're not. Are you?
Yeah.
You're going to have to change your vacation.
Already back and I'm striking.
You're on
there.
vacation, Leslie, too?
I actually am not available that evening, so, but I'm happy to give you estimates in advance if you need them.
You said you can make 5?
I can make 5.
Is that, do we have a quorum for that day then?
I think we have at least 5.
Okay.
Okay.
So 5 p.m.
5.
5 p.m.
So my goal is going to be by May 29th to get out that detailed budget for next. I will send you the detailed budget again that we used for this year, so that you can look it over and kind of highlight any changes that you think may be necessary for next year. And with the executive committee, I've been working on a priority projects listing. I will get that sent out to everybody and get it updated with the most recent info before sending it. So hopefully that should get us all the info we need.
And just for the awareness of the rest of the board, the project list that Amy is referring to is just overall projects that the DDA is working on, what they were budgeted for last year, how much we've spent this year, just so going into that meeting, we can properly be looking forward for what we're going to include in the budget for next year.
Okay, awesome. We'll move on to reports. First off, we have the engineering report.
Okay, I prepared a brief report of the status of township projects with the focus of projects within the DDA. As you know, we do a lot of work for the community. I think last month alone we worked on 48 projects, so I did not have enough time to go through every single one. Some of those are things like AT&T permits, and then they vary to things like Southeast Ring Road design. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm assuming everybody had an opportunity to read it, but I'm available to answer questions tonight or offline if you have any.
I loved this report. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I did.
No, this is very,
It was so informative. Yeah, it was like, thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
Has there been any update on Hawk Signal since you sent this to us last week?
Besides the meeting, the update at the board meeting? I can't remember. You know about the issues
Yeah.
with the soils,
Have we
correct?
tried another spot yet?
Not yet. We're
Okay.
working on it.
That was my question.
And Leslie, would this be the time to bring up about the shoulder, maybe, for the traffic signal, for the Hawk signal, or for that whole project? A concern that I've had.
her video.
What's that?
Is it her video?
I'm just going to bring it up. So it occurred to me last week when there was another major collision in front of my office, which I'm right next to the winery, that I don't know how many collisions I've witnessed at my office in the 6 years that I've been there. Was it? Yeah. It was, so a car was trying to turn left, and so traffic was backed up from Grand River. A car was trying to turn left into our parking lot to go to the winery, and another vehicle came screaming up the shoulder to try to get to the New Hudson and whacked them. Thank God everybody walked away, but both cars were totaled. I heard the crash and immediately just grabbed my phone and called 911. And it has happened, I don't know how many times. I would love to know, I think we talked about this in the meeting today, what the accident reports are for that location, and how do we, I mean, I know, can we, and I do have the video, which is like insane, but how are we going, because right where that collision happened and the cars got pushed is right where the signal's going. It was right at the crosswalk, and that's where they all seem to happen.
The signal may help with some of that, but the real issue is you have drivers driving on a shoulder and not in a permitted lane because there's gravel there. One day, if the DDA takes on the streetscape, there are ways to mitigate that with curb and gutter and a raised sidewalk separate. Right now, you're kind of stuck because you can't put obstructions in the right of way. The road commission's not going to let you put boulders out there to stop it, because then what that does is actually cause more accidents and more lawsuits. And so you can't put something like that there. It's really, I think the streetscape project is going to be the project to fix those things. Okay. And hopefully, it's the Hawk signal is a full signal. The mast arm goes all the way across Grand River. It's a 60-foot mast arm. It stops traffic. This is not the Blinky RRFBs.
Okay.
From the Blinky, but this is a full traffic signal. So if people run that, again, they're violating the motor vehicle code, and there's really only so much you can do to stop this. Yeah. But the streetscape is a great opportunity to fix a lot of issues. You know, I'm always looking at drainage and those fun things, including drainage, sidewalks, curb, traffic, and it will also really beautify the downtown. But until then, I don't really think you can do much. Okay. Because if you tried to do mini projects, you could, but you're likely going to rip that out when you go through with the streetscape. The streetscape is probably going to be an overhaul of that section of Grand River.
And when the Hawk signal goes in, I do know between the township and the DDA, we'll be working together for an educational campaign for our social media to alert everybody to what the conditions are for the Hawk signal. They are a full signaled light, so like we said, it is required to stop. It's not just the blinky lights. Mm-hmm. So it could be a conversation with Oakland County Sheriff's Office too, that once this first goes into a place, we would like to have some extra staffing in that area. So whether it's, you know, people pushing that light and somebody down there checking and, you know, making an example of how it's supposed to work for the first little while while it's in effect, and educating people on what's expected.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Leslie? All right, Brian, do you have a planner's update?
I do, thank you. Just adding to that conversation, SEMCOG does have a crash location data set that's publicly available. You can look. They only have up through 2024 data, so you don't have the last 2 years, but it is interesting. I pulled it up while you were talking, and then in 21 through 24, it looks like there were 5 accidents on that stretch between your building and Wholehearted. Okay. So.
In 24?
Between 21 and 24.
Okay.
So a 4-year span.
There's more than that. There was 2 just last week.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's 24. Yeah. I thought he said in 24.
No.
21 through 24.
So 25, 26 aren't included in there.
Correct.
So
right, but you said there were only 5 accidents in
there's
3 years.
5 in that section there, and then there's a bunch more closer to the points intersection.
Okay.
And those are just probably the ones that were reported. So
yeah.
if they're
Correct.
just fender benders and they just decided to walk away, then.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah, they're logging
Well, everyone I've seen
fatalities,
is-
serious injuries,
got
minor
full
injuries,
support of the
possible
sheriff.
injuries, and property damage. These
Okay.
ones in front of your stretch look like property damage.
Okay.
So, but it is interesting if you have a pet peeve intersection to go look at that data set and see what happened.
It's SEMCOG, you said?
Yes, yes, it's called the the crash location map. For your packet, we have a memo dated May 4th, detailing what we've been working on for Planning and Planning Commission. A couple updates in the last week that I think bear notifying the DDA. We did have a discussion with the Planning Commission last night about the large land use data center ordinance. So we made some good progress, got a lot of good public feedback. So our direction from the Planning Commission is to incorporate the feedback that the Commission talked about having merit, and then we'll work with Deb Walling from the Township Attorney's Office on making sure that we are that everything that we're recommending or suggesting is defensible when that becomes an ordinance. So we still have some work to do on that, but I do feel like we're getting close. We've not scheduled a public hearing for that ordinance yet, but it's looking like we're in pretty good shape for the next couple months that is likely to be on a Planning Commission agenda. A couple other active application progress items of note that didn't make it onto this report. The design group, which is on Ambassador Parkway and South Hill, has proposed an additional building for that project. So that's a site plan and special land use updates because that's in the Wellhead Protection District. We have a couple site plan approval extension requests in the pipelines, and then a minor amendment to the Tractor Supply site plan. They would like to add some storage on what is the northeast corner of that building. It's about 2,000 square feet that they want to add, so it's really minor. You likely won't see a lot of impact there, but that'll be in front of the Planning Commission in the near future. The other item that I'd like to add is I mentioned in the report that Oakland County, the CDBG application, we're still waiting on updates. If you recall, we submitted to get assistance for the Huron Valley Trail crossing at Pontiac Trail to install a hawk signal there. So the CDBG unit at Oakland County has changed up their process, and they're vetting larger projects this year than they have in the past. In the past, the township has done things like pay for senior center entry fees. We've done minor home repair programs in the past, youth services in the past. So they've changed things up. They're looking for big, large impact projects, and that crossing would certainly be one. On the positive side, we have officially cleared out all of the funding that CDBG has granted the township in the past several years. They beg and plead for municipalities to clear out some unexpended program funds, and so we are at a zero balance, which means we are in their good graces, which is excellent.
Brian, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes,
Just
sir.
since you're talking about Crossroads, I know one of the things that came up in our discussions today is the Crossroads there, just behind Lowe's. That's kind of like that blind. I cringe every time I drive through there. Coming across the trail crossing.
Oh, yes.
That crosses the road there behind Lowe's. Is that something that's in the purview of evaluation?
So we did look at that when we did the Huron Valley Trail intersection study a few years ago. I don't recall what our recommendations were on that. So I'll have to get back to you on that.
Just
but it is in
curious.
that document, and so we did. I'm certain at every intersection we suggested some signage improvements and things like that. That one's tough, especially from people coming, I guess, heading southbound, because you're kind of
I cut through
miss
there all the
that.
time. There's tree lines just cover up the trail. You can't see anybody coming.
Yeah.
It just has me really concerned.
Can we trim
I know
the
I
trees?
I drop down to like 10 miles an hour when I go through there, but I've seen plenty that do not.
Yeah. Like I said, I know we've talked about it. It's not quite as high a priority, at least identified in that study we did, as the Pontiac Trail one. So I haven't pursued funding mechanisms for that. But we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank
Do
you.
you mind just talk about it next time?
Sure. Yep.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that report, that study was paid by SEMCOG, paid for by SEMCOG, and it may have been adopted maybe in 24. So may have some new members who may not have read it. We could probably include the whole document in there.
Yeah.
It's worthwhile.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no worries. I'm all set unless there are any specific questions for me.
Love your report too.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, thank you. Up next, Elisa, for the treasurer's report, please.
Yeah, just kind of a few updates. I was watching last meeting's video, and I said how we were going to address the consent agenda, and I'd like you all to just forget everything I said last time, because we've been working on this, try to streamline. Our issues have been, when we approved consent agendas, we didn't exactly know what all we were approving and if things had been paid or not. So we've added a new column that tells us whether or not the item has been paid. So you know whether we're kind of rubber stamping it at this meeting. But as an entity, we are not rubber stamping it. The process is that Amy weekly on Monday sends me all of the things that need to be paid. And so I then, as treasurer, submit that to Patty Sarconi, to the township treasurer, to be paid. And then also the executive committee as well is notified of that. If anyone else on the board is interested in receiving more emails, I'd be happy to forward that to you as well, but you will find out what we did with this report. And this report is now comprehensive. The only thing that's not on here, as it says on the bottom, is payroll and personnel expenses. It's a little difficult to do that one because the reporting is just later. So if you really want to know, go look at our budget divided by 12 and you can kind of figure out what we paid probably in the last month. And if you really want more details, feel free to ask. I think that's it for the consent agenda. So moving forward, I think last time I had said erroneously that we were going to approve at these, nothing was going to get paid until we approved it. That's just logistically is a problem. And so again, we had also said, we're going to be trying to figure this out. And I think we've got something that's pretty decently streamlined. So this is probably where we're going to end up with that. And if anyone wants more details, feel free to ask. I'm happy to talk numbers. The other thing, as CES, every month CES gives us a invoice, and starting in 2026, I've been receiving them before they get finalized, just to make sure we have things in our right buckets. And so I'm trying to find my report on my buckets. So we, there's about, here we go. And so through April of 2026, so those first 4 months, what we have paid just falls into buckets of kind of DDA meetings, the New Hudson Road abandonment, kind of easements and right-of-way acquisitions, Eagle permitting, HUD funding, MDOT, and then kind of the utility coordinations with Consumers Energy and DTE. So moving forward, we will know how much we paid per year. I believe when I printed out, I guess I got my bottom totals cut off. It was about $10,000, I think, for the year. And then we know how much of each of those categories we've spent to date on that. So that's how we'll be kind of moving forward, where we really can just know all of those details, and it's awesome. Let's see. Any questions about how we're invoicing? Okay, and then I think that's it. I guess Mike requested at our organizational committee meeting this morning to kind of get some reporting on just where are we in our expenses for the year compared to what we budgeted. So Amy and I are going to be figuring that out as we move forward on just getting reports streamlined and everything for everybody. So if there's anything else you're interested in, let me know so that we can, as we kind of create these reports, create things that are easily helpful for everyone to just know where we're at real quick is the goal. Thanks.
Thanks for all your hard work,
Yeah.
Lisa.
Yeah, thank you.
Great.
The EV committee did meet last week, Monday. Michelle is our new chair for that committee. And we are still doing our quarterly industrial visits, so we're looking to schedule that one. And we did attend the New Hudson Cardio Drumming, or they're renamed now Lion Drumming. Ribbon cutting, or the reopening ribbon cutting and 10-year anniversary. That was really great. We will attend the library ribbon cutting. I hope other people will as well. That's June 1st. We have another business celebrating the 10-year anniversary. That's Smiles of Grand River. And our business event, I don't have the date, is going to be, do you know that one, the next business event?
It is scheduled for July
21st.
21st.
Thank you. July 21st, and we are looking for people that want to join a subcommittee to help plan that event. And of course, we're looking for people to attend it as well. And I think that's, did you have anything else, Chad?
We have one addition. An invitation just went out today. Walmart is going to be celebrating their grand reopening for their remodel on Friday, May 29th. It'll be from 9 to 2. And they're going to have food truck activities, actual ribbon cutting somewhere between 9 and 9:30. So the public is all welcome to that.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, any questions? Next up, promotions committee, Dr. Paula.
Okay, so there are calendars of events out in front, so everybody can grab one of those. We have those set up for the year. We had our Lion Rocks, where we put our rocks along the trail to support local businesses. We have our concerts starting. Our first one is June 10th. We have a great lineup this year. And of those concerts, just also marking that August 19th will be our volunteer appreciation. And so we're excited about that. I was able to secure Petaway. They're going to donate all the food for our volunteer appreciation. So that was really awesome, very generous of them. I met with a gentleman. He developed software for disc golf simulators. So there's a disc golf world tournament coming to Kensington. There'll be over 30,000 people, and he's got a whole promotion to try to drive business into our downtown. So this is where also I want to try to get with Michelle from are you LBC? No, you step down. Michelle's.
She's the chair.
She's the chair. Okay. Okay. So I want to get with you guys and talk about promotion for the businesses and getting this scavenger hunt, which it'll be amazing. So we'll be able to flood our downtown with people from all over the world to do business in our community. So I'm really excited about that. He's also bringing a golf simulator out on August 19th, as well as maybe another date or so. I want to try to get him over to our golf simulator to see if he can set up a bay there. So that's going to be really exciting. Amy and Elisa and Carissa and I met with Blue Water. I think that was all that was there. And Blue Water does the Glenlore Trails out at Dodge Park. So this huge lighted holiday event. They do the Halloween event. So lots of interactive displays, lighting, sound. And so we talked about bringing and Pastor John was there. So we talked about doing some development on the green space at the New Hudson United Methodist Church that would be less labor intensive. Last year was just, our displays took a beating. It was not what we've had in years past. And so I think they're going to help us breathe life into this display will make it something that is really going to be attractive right to our downtown. It will still be self-guided, but it'll be grand. It'll be lighting up the grand. So we'll have that again for several weeks, and then that can be a part of our lighting up the grand. So I'm waiting on a report back from them and a quote and all of that. But we had some really good ideas, and really excited to explore that with them. We also, for our concerts, we have decided that we're going to open up our parking because we're expecting more traffic for the concerts. We're going to open it up to nonprofits, and we've budgeted for each concert for a nonprofit a nonprofit business to come into the community, and they will handle all the parking, and we will pay their nonprofit at the end of it, so that we don't have to worry about getting our volunteers. We can start to now get other community organizations involved. And so I don't know if we have anybody signed up yet, but we just decided that, I think, within the last couple weeks. So we're excited about that. And then I think the last thing is we've submitted for 3 more Oakland County Main Street Awards. We submitted for our collaboration with New Hudson United Methodist Church as best collaboration, so I'm excited about that. We submitted for Volunteer of the Year for Mission Church, their whole organization, and what was my third one, Amy? I can't remember. Or was it just the 2? No, I think I submitted 3.
We had 3. We had the Volunteer of the Year. We had
Mission or
Project of the Year.
Oh, and then the event of the year, we're submitting Kite Fest for that. So we think that's pretty special. So we are definitely expecting, we've applied the last 2 years for awards, and we have brought home awards to Lyon Township. I'm so proud of that. And so I know if anybody would love to attend, it would be so great. These other DDAs, they come with droves of people, and it's loud and it's fun. It's a really great time. So I would love to see our organization showing up and really representing Lyon Township and New Hudson, and hopefully take home a couple more awards this year. So that's all I got. When is that? Amy, do you know when that is? June 11th. June 11th. Yep. So that's all I got.
Thank you. Designer and parents. Yeah, real quick. So we haven't had meetings the last couple of months. I've done some field trips. Went to the DDA to learn about our Inside Out program that was, our artwork was installed on Monday. So it's at Lyon Township Hall, Atchison Memorial Park, the Zott Collision Shop at the 5 Points, Mission Church, New Hudson United Methodist Church, the library, and I think the new library, wasn't it? New library. Yeah, the new library location. And the War Dog Memorial. So Angie is doing some social media promotion for that, so be sure to take a look at that. Very exciting. As you walk out, be sure to look at, we have some, it's right out here as you walk out the door. Our committee is going to be putting in the flowers at the Grand River parking lot on May 20th, that Wednesday. If anyone's interested in joining us, meet at Lowe's at 9 in the morning, and then we will proceed to plant said flowers and pray that we have no more frost after that. And then we also last year put banners at the 3 lampposts at the parking lot, and we are expanding that onto the Southwest Ring Road and adding 8 more banners there on poles that are not obstructed by trees. Let's see. And last week I had the opportunity to talk to the Lyon Township Board about some projects they were interested in doing. And I'm very excited to announce that we are creating a collaborative committee of board members from both the Lyon Township Board and the DDA to discuss future projects. So we have a lot of ideas and would like to spend our time designing and completing ones that we are all on board with doing. So I think that will help tremendously to get those things moving forward. So we will probably start meeting in June.
Great, thank you. The organizational committee did meet this morning. I think we've pretty much covered everything so far tonight that we did speak about this morning. So unless you have any questions, I will turn it over to John for a supervisor.
Gosh, I gotta follow all that fun stuff with all the stinky stuff. So I have two major expansion projects going on. One is the sewer plant, and it's not fun, but we're getting it done. We're hoping that that one will go online in October, sometime around the end of October, which is good. And the water. The water is a big one for me, and we still look like we could get this thing on in the end of May, and I'm really hoping that we still meet that. We have some Eagles situations going on where I think we're going to turn one reactor on. We come up with a plan to get one reactor running and start and get Eagle out there and start looking at that reactor so we can get that passed. And then once that reactor passed, we'll get the other two online. But it looks really promising, and I'm really, really hoping we're going to get that softening on by the end of May. It's been a long time. I've been working on this project since 2016. And we're going to have two of the highest classed water plants in Michigan. And I can't wait till we get the last one finished and I can start doing tours of that plant, because everybody is going to be truly amazed at what we've accomplished. And I'm very proud of it. And I think we're going to have amazing water, pretty darn soft water, and maybe end of May and June, I'm hoping. But it's been a lot of work. It's been a long run. We're getting close, and we are going to start the water tower, the one in Milford up on the freeway, probably this month. That's going to start going up, so that'll give us more capacity, and we're just going to have a first-class water system. I can't wait till it's all up and running.
Where's that tower going at, John?
It's going to go to the very west side of the project that's in Milford. It's going to set right on the freeway. It'll be a 1 million gallon tank, and it's
By
just
that commuter lot there?
It's. Do you know where the cell tower is when you go down the freeway? It's. I believe it's still just a little bit. Is it a little bit west of that still? Isn't it?
I don't know exactly.
Yeah, it is. It's just a little bit west. It's right on the corner of the. Right out by the end of the freeway. You'll see it. It's going to.
It's
gonna
where
be
they
big.
did all the staging for the construction right there, right?
Yeah, they started taking out the grass and the dirt, and they're starting. It's right. You'll see it if you go down the freeway to the west. Watch to the north, you'll see it. It's starting to spread out, but that's going to be a big plus for our system. It just gives us more capacity, and as we're trying to soften water, we need to. It takes a while. The process that we have for softening takes a while to soften it. So as it goes through that reactor and softens water, we need to have a place to store it so that we have nice water ready to serve every morning. And once that goes online, I think we'll have about 4 million, 4.5 million, 5 million gallons every morning ready to serve. So it's going to be nice. Plus we have what the capacity of the wells are too as they produce that day. So we're doing really well on these, and in our June meeting, I'm going to announce about the Citizens Academy. We've got that all put together now, and I want Tina and Rebecca are going to be with me in June to explain how it's going to start. But I think our first classes are going to start around the 10th of June, and we're going to only take on 10 people the first session, because we want to get our feet wet with it, see how it's going to all work. And so the sign-ups, I think, are going to go quick for the first 10. But I have several people that are very interested, so we want to get them. One's here, and I got you. I think 2 are here, actually. So that's all I got. I babble too much. Go ahead.
All right, DDA Director update, Amy?
Yep. I'm hoping everybody had an opportunity to look at my report that I submitted for this month. It is in a new format. I had looked at some examples from some other communities that they had utilized, and I thought this was the one that I felt fit best with information that had been requested on a regular basis. It is a long report, but I wanted to keep it very detailed to go along with my timesheets that I've been working with on the executive committee. I felt as though it was important to get into a little more detail with the full board. So I prepared this. Based on the time of our meeting, I don't really feel the need unless requested to go through this. I think it's a lot of information for you to go through, but if you have any questions about something that was on the report, I would gladly give you more detail.
What was your main takeaway from the conference you attended?
From the conference that I attended at Nationals?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I can put together a summary to submit to you guys.
What's your favorite?
Oh my gosh. My favorite, honestly, and this is, I'm gonna say this and please nobody throw anything at me. AI assistance. It talked about different ways to utilize AI to help streamline your time spent. And there were a lot of different examples. They actually walked us through the process that one director utilizes, because a lot of DDAs are 1 or 2 person teams. And there were a lot of applications that I didn't realize, that even feeding in your project reports, it can create different like timelines for you. Just that information's buried in all of your paperwork somewhere, and it's scanning and feeding it all, or copying and pasting all that information, and it can create a whole timeline for you for next year for your meetings. And I thought that was the most useful thing that I brought back, and I sat down with our marketing manager too and just talked about the ability to be able to do some mock-ups of different social media campaigns, flyers, things like that, that not necessarily, we're not trying to cut anybody out with vendors or consultants, but it gives us a good idea to be able to give them more information to know what direction we're leaning with some of these things when we're talking about, like, I believe coming before you at the budget workshop, we're gonna make a recommendation for a new branding campaign to update our logo, some of the items that we utilize. And we're working internally with some AI just to create some drafts of different things that we can then take to a consultant to actually put together something and give it more detailed description, so that we are more successful with what we want to see rather than starting from scratch. So that was a really good one, but there were some specific event-driven ones that I attended to that I definitely would like to share with you, but I'll put something together for sure.
That'd be great. Thank you. Any other questions?
Oh, the building report I can give to you guys, because that I don't believe was included in the packet, so I'll just give you those updated numbers for April. We had 32,000 in commercial alterations, and that was primarily the Hudson Trail shop. As you can see, we have a new business going in, the smoke shop, that will be located over there. They're doing some interior work. The building right next door to it that used to be the Roundabout resale shop, they're doing some interior work there, but they don't have a tenant identified currently. And then the old Draft Horse Brewery, the new company that owns it, Kickstand, is doing some interior remodel work there too. And new structures, Magna, we had a $250,000 investment. They are doing a steel storage building and new dumpster containment area. In signage, we had just over 16,000, and that was for the Hudson Trail Complex and Miller's Landscape. And then we had 20 permits pulled for residential, valuing just above 7.8 million within the DDA district. That is my report.
Thank you. Okay, so at this time, we'll go into closed session. Please note that tonight, when we return from closed session, no action will be taken by the board. When we do come out of closed session, if you want to stick around, there is a call to public after that. And
at this time, we would ask if there's any conflicts of interest to anybody who will be abstaining from or not attending the closed session. And then we will need a roll call to go into closed session. So,
I guess we need to know whose property is in discussion.
well, we only have one left, so.
Fair enough.
so, Jason, did you want to say that you're excluding yourself?
Oh, yeah, I will recuse myself from the closed meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Is that good enough? Is that good enough?
I would say for a reason, just for conflict of interest.
Oh, yeah, sure. For conflict of interest.
Okay, thank you. And then Kelly, if we can have a roll call.
Carissa Canfield,
Yes.
John Dolan,
Yes.
Elisa Guthrie,
Yes.
Mike Casey,
Yes.
Tim Miner,
Yes.
John Paycheck,
Yes.
Dorna,
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
And call her up.
Here.
So we'll be adjourning to the large conference room for closed session.
Oh, we leave, okay.
Okay, we're back in public session, and our final agenda item is a call to public.
Just a quick question, after I finally figured out what a hawk was, that is not a road that I was looking for. What if you guys, Wells Road is like 1 block down. What if, instead of putting up 2 of these signs in that distance from the main intersection, you're talking about possibly in the future putting another one by the cross for the trail? What if you just slid it down a little bit further? I'm concerned that it's going to back up traffic too much at the intersection. When I was just at Leo's, and the traffic is backed up on the turn and the straight through from Milford, all the way back almost to the light at Lion Center. When was the traffic study done for this? Because they're not looking at the right times. If they think that there's not going to be a jam up when you have, people can't even turn left because you can't get to the left-hand turn lane. And the same with coming from the mall direction, would be east, I think, coming west. You can't, because my husband almost got a ticket. He got pulled over because he pulled over into the left-hand turn lane way before Jonah's, and just, they fly down there. That if you had that light back further, it might actually help the intersection rather than stop it when people are turning left and ending up at that light because someone's crossing. It might only be for a minute or two, but at 3:30 till 6, it's a nightmare there, and it's the same thing in the morning. And anything going on in town, I think that it's just too close. And if you're having a problem getting it through the rock, go down to maybe Wells and put it there, because the school comes out on both ends of that 2 sections. But that's just me. That's all I wanted to think.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
See ya.
Okay, just one thing left.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
So moved.
All in favor?
I'm back. I'm back. Woo!
That's the one we're looking